Okay, today we're going to talk about the OSIRIS REx return sample mission. And as you can see, we're using NASA EYES on the solar system. This is a free program that you can download. Again, it's NASA EYES on the solar system. And what we have to realize here is that OSIRIS REx is at Bennu at this moment, and it's orbiting Bennu. So if we click on Bennu, that's the asteroid that OSIRIS REx took the sample from. And if we go out a little bit, let's see if we can do that. Okay, and we can go to OSIRIS REx here. This is OSIRIS REx, and as you can see, this is what the OSIRIS REx satellite looks like. Here you can see the solar collectors on it, and this is the sample arm that actually went down, and it touched or tagged. They called it a touch and go or tag, and this is the part that collected the sample. And they actually blew nitrogen around the outside so that it would blow some of the dust and debris up into it where it would collect it. And also it had some sticky around it in case the nitrogen didn't go off, they would still be able to get something. Now they were talking about getting 60 grams, and 60 grams is about the weight of a candy bar. So let's go back here now. And now we're going to just zoom in a little bit here. Now there's a few things I want you to be aware of. Bennu, as you can see, that's the white circle. That's the orbit. And if you look at the Earth has the blue orbit. The Earth is at about 11 o'clock, if you would think of this as a clock. And if you notice that the white orbit passes through the blue orbit, or the orbit of the Earth, in two different spots. So when OSIRIS REx leaves Bennu, it is not going to go in this direction and catch up to the Earth. Actually, what's happening is the Earth is going to catch up to OSIRIS REx. So what we have to do with OSIRIS REx is separate it from Bennu, because we don't want, well, we know that Bennu is not going to hit the Earth, but OSIRIS REx will. So what's actually going to happen is that OSIRIS REx is going to make a little bit larger of an orbit, so it'll actually take more time to make the same rotation around the sun. It's kind of like a NASCAR car on the track. If you're on the inside of the track, you're traveling less distance than if you were on the outside of the track. So if you were going the same speed, you would actually do more laps if you went long enough by going on the inside than if you were going on the outside, because you were traveling less distance. So that's kind of what OSIRIS REx is going to do, but we can get to that in a little bit. So here we're going to put this all in motion. So now we see the Earth, and you can see the way everything's traveling. And down here you can see the date. And when this gets to around March, then actually Bennu and OSIRIS REx are going to split. Now they split, and so now they each are traveling on their own orbit around the sun, and OSIRIS REx is no longer orbiting Bennu. So here you can see the two different orbits that they're taking. It's kind of hard to keep this on, but there you can see the separation, the two white circles. So as you can see, OSIRIS REx is on the outside of Bennu now. So that means it's actually slowing down from Bennu. Because again, what we said was that Bennu is not going to hit the Earth. So that means that OSIRIS REx has to intersect with the orbit of the Earth at a different time. So now you can see that Bennu is crossing the Earth's plane first, and then OSIRIS REx comes after. But that's a year before the Earth's actually going to catch up. But now you can still see how much more distance we're getting between Bennu and OSIRIS REx, and all that is because of the longer distance it's taking to get around the sun. So here's the Earth. It's starting to catch up. It's starting to get close right now. So if we look at Bennu, we can see we're in 2023 now. So this is where we're gonna, when it gets up there to almost 12 o'clock, that's when OSIRIS REx is going to come in contact with the Earth and come back into orbit, or not orbit, but come back to land on Earth. So here now Bennu passes well ahead of the Earth, past its orbit, and now OSIRIS REx and the Earth come together, and that's where OSIRIS REx will land on the Earth. It will fire what they call its re-entry burn, which will slow it down slow enough that it can enter back into the Earth's atmosphere. And it'll be going probably about 27,000 miles an hour when it actually hits the Earth's atmosphere. So what they have on it, it's got the heat shield, like how the old Apollo missions had. They had the heat shield on the bottom of the capsule, and they actually have some sensors that are inside of the capsule that they're going to make sure that the samples didn't get exposed to super high temperature, because they want pristine samples to come back, just like how they were out in space. They don't want them burned up, because we do have samples of other asteroids that come into the Earth, but when they enter Earth's atmosphere, they kind of burn and they get contaminated with the Earth's atmosphere. So when these come back, they're going to be pristine. Okay, hopefully that answered your question about why it's going to take till 2023 before we get OSIRIS REx back here to Earth. Okay, talk to you later. Bye-bye.